along that line. As Paul Joseph Watson points out, it's now DARPA. Those are the people who are always doing the really dark research. They're soliciting companies to provide new technology that would allow the Department of Defense to predict future societal unrest by keeping track of, quote, all human activities that can be measured. Now, they point out, and this is a solicitation on FedBiz Ops, they point out that this is going to be game-changing technologies. It will provide information advantage to the U.S. and its allies in powerful ways. They will gain insight into the world that will have mercantile and military implications. Now, when they say mercantile, they're talking about helping their favored corporations as well. And it's that kind of corporate espionage that this is being used for, as well as the dragnet surveillance of its citizens that is causing so much protest, not only in America, but especially in Europe. That's why many European countries and governments are now moving away from American computer businesses and software companies. We're going to be right back with more on the border. We're going to take your calls.
I began to get into iodine a few years ago because it was helping me and my family so much get healthy and detoxify. Most people know that iodine deficiency has been a crisis around the world. Iodine is key to so many of the body's functions, especially the thyroid. I discovered a product being developed by Dr. Group. You now know it as Survival Shield True Nascent Iodine that your body can really absorb. Then, about a year ago, he said, listen, if you think this is powerful, I'm going to come out with rare earth, deep earth crystals. And the results that I personally have had have been life-changing. Nobody else has got iodine based on these pure crystals, ladies and gentlemen. This is innovating, and the best part is it helps fund Infowars.com, the radio show, the TV show, the whole media operation promoting true libertarian ideas. For a limited time, experience the ancient power of Survival Shield X2. Take advantage of this unprecedented 30% off super detox special at InfoWarsLife.com.
I can taste dirt in it.
God knows what's in this.
These people just sampled City of Austin tap water straight from the faucet. Next, we had them try a sample of tap water filtered through the ProPure G2.0 filtration system.
That one is better.
Tastes like nothing.
Yep, I know what good water tastes like. It's good water.
Most tap water contains added substances like fluoride, chlorine, glyphosate, and many others. Studies prove that these substances are linked to an assortment of major health issues, including tooth decay, lowered IQ, and even cancer.
It tastes like you're drinking out of the lake when you're drinking tap water.
The ProPure G2.0 filtration system removes these deadly substances, leaving only fresh-tasting, deliciously clean water.
Okay, this is very tasty.
It's good water.
Refreshing.
It's good.
Go to InfoWarsStore.com today and get your free wire stand with the purchase of a ProPure Big Water Filtration System. Or call 1-888-253-3139.
Hi, I'm Dr. Edward Group. It took me 20 years of searching the globe to find the deposit of the highest purity iodine available. The new Survival Shield X2 is mined from 7,000 to 10,000 feet below the earth in pristine, environmentally clean conditions. The iodine crystals we use are extracted from an ancient 300 million plus year old deposit deep in the earth. It's the strongest nascent iodine on the market today. It delivers 650 micrograms per drop. Experience the new formula. Experience the ancient purity. Shield your family. Survival Shield X2. Available now at InfoWarsLife.com.
X2 from InfoWarsLife.com or call toll-free 888-253-3139. Alex Jones here for Infowars.com. In the month of July, we have got giant specials on everything at Made in1776.com. The already discounted Made in 1776 t-shirts are only $17.76. We have the new belt buckles that in only 2 weeks of sale are very close to selling out. There's only 500 of each. We're talking about Made in America belt buckles in nickeled brass. This is more than a summer blowout special. This is a new declaration Declaration of Independence. But to expand the InfoWar, we're offering the equivalent of more than 5 months free right now when you get a membership at prisonplanet.tv. For a limited time, only $39.95 a year. That's more than 5 months free off the regular price. Not just this July 4th weekend, but the entire month of July at madein1776.com. Molon Labe, you can take my gun from my cold, dead hands.
Coast to coast, direct from Austin. You're listening to the Alex Jones Broadcasting Network.
We are on the march. The Empire is on the run. Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
Welcome back to the Alex Jones Show on this Sunday, July 27th, 2014. Now, we've been talking about what's going on at the border. Of course, there's so many crises to choose from in the Obama administration, so many different things that he could be impeached for. Certainly going after entire political movements, using the IRS to go after them, and then covering it up. See, that's the key thing. It was the cover-up that took down Nixon. And that's the cover-up that should take down Obama. But, of course, then there's the executive orders to just give amnesty to millions of people. That's what they're talking about right now. So the question is this just gross incompetence, or is this a planned takedown of America? Now, in 2009, there was a New York Times op-ed piece where they basically said, is Obama a chess master? And they made the case that, yes, they thought he was. Now, just today, a real chess master, Garry Kasparov, tweeted out, allow me to disagree. Now, I think he was talking about Obama's foreign policy in the Ukraine and Russia. But the reality of it is that I think there is evidence to show that this is something, at least if Obama is not orchestrating it, it's certainly the powers that put him in office. Think about what's happening here. Think about just with the border, the many different facets of this. It really is a masterstroke of tyranny. They want to implode the country economically by exponential expansion of the entitlements. This is a Cloward and Piven strategy that we've talked about many times. The fact that you put all these entitlements out there, and of course, we've just had the largest increase in entitlements in my lifetime, and that was Obamacare. As they put Obamacare out there, and then they bring in millions of people, as well as the other entitlement programs, that's an effort to overload the system. And of course, even if we just paid for the education of the children that are coming in, that would basically take most jurisdictions underwater. But it's not just imploding the country economically. He's also going to explode the country with violence, because it's not children merely that are coming across. And many of the children who are coming across are gang members, 15, 16, 17 years old, still minors. But as we've seen and talked about here on the radio program here in the Alex Jones Show many times, we've got baby Zetas, we've got MS-13 gang members who are minors involved in kidnapping, involved in murder and torture, mutilation, making videos of it, even after they get the ransom, still killing the victims and taking video of it and putting it out there. So that is not really the kind of image that they're putting out there in the mainstream media, saying this is just children that are making this long trek across. Certainly those gang members can make the trek across, and we know that is happening. And so we've got a war on drugs that is escalating violence here in the United States, that has essentially decimated those countries, along with the economic policies, the rent-seeking policies of the IMF, going all the way back to Robert McNamara. For decades, they've been putting these countries into debt to the banks to pay for increased welfare states. They weren't building infrastructure in those countries. They were getting them to go into debt to pay for a welfare state. And as everybody said, you're getting into a rent-seeking status. In other words, you don't want anybody to own anything. You want everybody to rent everything from you. And that is what the big banks and the multinational corporations want to do. They want to stop all private ownership of everything. So we have communism on the bottom, but it's essentially an economic fascism on top. Think about what else he's doing. He's not just imploding the country economically, getting ready to explode it with violence as we bring in more of these international gang members who will then go into competition with the gangs that are already in our countries, already creating a lot of violence, prohibition style in our countries. He's also going to divide the country demographically. He wants to control a large new voting bloc of voters. He's going to do it with amnesty, and they want to make sure that nobody IDs anyone at the voting polls because, of course, that would be racist. Now, you can't cash a check. You can't get a drink in most bars. You can't drive a car. You can't do so many things without having an ID. We're constantly getting stopped as if we were in Nazi Germany, demanding IDs from us by the police, even when we're not trying to engage in something. But when we try to engage in something for which we should have some control and know if these people are legitimate voters, that's racist. That's racist to require ID from everybody. So they're trying to divide the country demographically, and he's trying to erase the rule of law with executive orders. Now, I want you to hear what Barack Obama said back in 2007 and 2008. Here's a few clips.
There's been a tendency on the part of this administration to try to hide behind executive privilege every time there's something a little shaky that's taking place. And I think, the administration would be best served by coming clean on this.
It's not actually true that the Patriot Act was the worst. Most of the problems that we have had in civil liberties were not done through the Patriot Act. They were done through executive order by George W. Bush.
And I think one of the biggest problems of the last 8 years has been the degree to which President Bush has taken almost the opposite tack, that secrecy and concentrations of power in the Oval Office.
I taught the Constitution for 10 years. I believe in the Constitution, and I will obey the Constitution of the United States. We're not going to use signing statements as a way of
what
doing
makes it so bad. He knows what the Constitution is. He certainly knows what it is. It isn't that he doesn't know. It isn't that he's incompetent. He's thumbing his nose at the Constitution. He, more than anyone else, has bragged about how he's going to use executive orders because he just doesn't want to wait for Congress. He could care less what Congress does, and Congress sheepishly takes a back seat to him and doesn't do anything. And so the question is, should they impeach them? That's what we want to talk to you about, but I want to play you now this clip that just came out from Luis Gutierrez. This is the same guy who just a few days ago was recorded talking to La Raza and said, we're going to get amnesty so we can punish these Americans who don't want to allow illegal immigration. Here's what he had to say.
I'm going over to the White House. I'll be meeting with Jay Johnson and the chief legal counsel to the President of the United States. We're going to sit down and we're going to negotiate additional terms and avenues the President can use in prosecutorial discretion. And I think we can get 3 or 4, maybe even 5 million people.
Okay, so we're constantly hearing that we need to have immigration reform, but the Republican line is, of course, we need to secure the border before we have immigration reform, and then presumably we can just grant amnesty to everyone and put them right on the welfare rolls. Well, how is that border working out? Well, we sent our InfoWars crew team down there to take a look at it. We've got Joe Biggs down there. He's been flying over the border, taking aerial shots of it, as well as going up and down the border, and there's some pretty amazing stuff. I want to play you a couple of short clips here. We've got 3 short clips I'd like to play of Joe down there looking at various aspects of really what does this border fence look like. Here's the first clip.
We are now 100 yards up the fence from where we were just at a second ago, where you saw the wide parts open. Now look. This is an area that has been cut down by the cartels. It was just repaired on 3/14/14, and it was cut open by the cartels on 10/29/13. Now let me show you real quick what happens. Write that down
on the grid right there.
What they do is there's a smuggling route right back here. A truck can get through.
So we're going to be right back. I want to play these 2 clips, and after that, I want to go to your calls and get your comments on what we should do about that. He's showing basically a wire grid that they're cutting through with acetylene torches, and then they come back and record when they repaired it when it was cut. Stay with us. We'll be right back with your calls.
This is Alex Jones for InfoWarsLife.com. The latest in preparedness is now here. An electrically stabilized colloidal silver solution that can be added to both your home cabinet and preparedness pack alike. Concentrated to 30 parts per million in what has been dubbed the survival silver solution. The new InfoWars Life Silver Bullet Colloidal Silver is the answer for you and your family. And it's entirely free of toxic artificial additives that are loaded into many products. The InfoWars Life Silver Bullet Silver is so powerful that it is concentrated into a 2-ounce bottle and is not recommended for extended continual use. This is not a low-grade formula. We are working with one of the top laboratory manufacturers in the United States to bring you the best form of colloidal silver using electrical processes within a base of deionized water for your preparedness storage.